Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome RFA President and CEO Jeff Cooper.
Good morning. Every year at the National Ethanol Conference, the Renewable Fuels Association recognizes a unique contribution to the ethanol industry's success during the past year. These achievements range from technological breakthroughs to marketplace advancements to advocacy excellence. Past recipients of our annual industry award have included Ron Fagan and Dave Vandergren for their tireless efforts to build the ethanol industry and advance biofuel production technologies. Pacific Ethanol and Quad County Corn Processors for their determined efforts to commercialize cellulosic ethanol production. Scott Zaremba, the very first E15 retailer in the country. And the board and management at East Kansas Agri-Energy, South Dakota farmer Ron Alverson, and Iowa Governor Terry Branstad for their unique contributions to ethanol advocacy. This past year presented the ethanol industry with a challenging and politically charged environment. Success in securing the year-round use of E15 was undermined by EPA's unprecedented abuse of its small refiner waiver exemptions. As a consequence, getting the ethanol industry's message to our political leadership was critically important. One company stepped up, opened its doors, and hosted numerous members of Congress, cabinet members, local officials, the national news media, and even the President of the United States. And when these officials visited, they did not just get a tour of the facility and learn how ethanol is made. They also got a frank and honest dialogue about the devastating impact of small refinery exemptions, the need to restore integrity to the RFS, and the benefits of moving toward a high-octane, low-carbon future. So by now, I'm sure you all know that I'm talking about Mike Yerke and the board and staff at Southwest Iowa Renewable Energy, where President Donald Trump visited last June. Now, Mike will tell you it is no easy thing to bring the President of the United States to your ethanol plant. Obviously, the facility must be spotless. The Secret Service is crawling over every square inch of your facility to eliminate any risk to the Commander-in-Chief. The national news media descends upon you. Every single word and gesture is open to dissection and misinterpretation. It is indeed a nerve-wracking experience. But the Sire team handled all of it with composure and grace. Mike and plant manager Dan Witch and the rest of the team had the place sparkling that day. And on the day when President Trump visited, he heard loud and clear that while we appreciate his efforts to expand the use of E15, EPA's continued abuse of its waiver authority was harming farmers and ethanol producers far more. And that took courage. I have no doubt that the President's experience at Sire planted the seeds for the President's ultimate decision to direct Administrator Wheeler to change EPA's approach to small refinery waivers. But the President's visit did not end Sire's political advocacy last year. Sire also hosted an event in August with Iowa Congresswoman Cindy Axne, where she and other officials called for a federal investigation into EPA's renewable fuel standard waiver process. Speaking at the event that day was Mike, Republican State Senator Tom Shipley, farmer Jeff Jorgensen, Delane Johnson, another RFA member from Quad County Corn Processors. And it was a great event that really shined more light on the small refinery exemption problem. And then in October, at the same facility at Sire, U.S. Senator and Democratic presidential candidate Amy Klobuchar joined Representative Axne again for a roundtable discussion and a tour of the facility. And they talked about a wide variety of issues facing rural America, but really focused on challenges facing the ethanol industry, including the refinery waivers. And for those of you keeping score at home, Senator Klobuchar had a good night in New Hampshire last night, finished third, and hopefully that will be a springboard for her as she moves into the Super Tuesday and South Carolina and through the campaign. So the hard work that Mike and the men and women of SIRE put into these important events really cannot be overstated. And the work that they did is really on behalf of the entire ethanol industry, and we greatly appreciate the efforts from the SIRE board and staff this year. Those efforts are obviously paying off. So for this year's industry award, please join me in saluting SIRE for their efforts in 2019. And Mike, if you and your board and staff would like to come up, we'd like to present you with this award. Come on up.
I'm Carol King, Chairman of the Board, and I wanted to introduce the other ones up here. Board members Ted Bauer and Jill Euchen. Of course, Mike Yerke, you know him. He's our CFO, been in the industry a long time. CFO Brett Freebert, and our legal counsel with Hush Blackwell, David Gardells. We do everything as a team. Try not to blast you out of the audience here, but this was a pleasant surprise. We were not looking for this at all. We have probably a culture and a philosophy at SIRE that we try to open our doors to other plants to come in. When we put some new technology in, we have anyone that wants to come in and see it, feel it, kick it around, see if it would work in their plant. And so we do a lot of tours, both local and congressional tours throughout the year. This last year seemed to be particularly heavy with that, and we were thrilled to have the opportunity to do that. So once again, I really want to thank RFA for their recognition and considering us for the award, and we greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.